Hi, welcome to Craft Sew with Gail T.C. Terry. Today I'm going to show you how to make this cool fanny skirt. If you're a person like me, I always say I'm 100 too many pounds, but when I go and exercise or go walking, sometimes I don't mind with the spandex and kind of athletic wear, but other times, sometimes I just want to cover up. So it depends. This may not bother some people, but I like a little something. A lot of times I tie a jacket around my waist, but when it's warm, I just don't need anything else constricting. The tools you'll use for this are two t-shirts, your rotary cutter. I'm using my peaking shears, my measuring tape. I have my seam ripper here. I also have a cutting board, and you'll use standard supplies like your sewing machine and straight pins. Let's get started. So as you notice, I pinned the bottom of the t-shirt, and this is just to hold it in place. You could also use weights for this. I measured from my waist down to determine how long I wanted this skirt. And so I'm making sure I meet that measurement, and I'm adding about a ½ inch for seam allowance. Using the bottom of the t-shirt, it's just one less area I have to sew, so this makes this a really quick project. If you find you want your skirt wider or you want it to curve further around your waist toward the front, you can always add additional material, either from another t-shirt, or if you have extra room on that t-shirt to cut some extra fabric, you can add in there. This was an extra large tee, so it worked for me, but everyone's different. As you notice, I also did not iron this fabric. If you're a person that likes to iron your fabric first, definitely do that. I'm going to gather the waist, so I didn't bother to iron this at this time. I'm cutting a straight seam in the center. I realized the t-shirt did not have side seams, so I just decided where I would cut my center cut there. I'm going to roll the edges twice. If you have a rolled hem tool, you can use it here, but I'm just doing 2 rolls of about a 1/4 inch each, and then I'll sew straight down this side. Pretty much cover the raw edge. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Now, what I've also done is at my sewing machine, I put a base stitch across the top of the skirt, and this is where I will gather. So you want to widen your stitch. You don't need it really tight. You want it as wide really as possible to do gathers. And it's a base stitch, so you leave a long tail and you just gently pull. I sped up the film a little bit here, but this is a gentle process. Take your time. You don't want to break the thread, or you'll have to start over. So I'm doing the gathers on both ends. It takes pressure off of the thread a little bit. And there you see my gathers. Now, what I didn't say is you may want to identify somehow or make a marking at the center back of your skirt so that when you're lining up the belt and binding, you know exactly where the center is, and you would do that prior to gathering the skirt. So for my other t-shirt, I cut 2.5 inch strips to use as the waist binding and belt. I made mine pretty long. Make sure you measure your waist and then allow for extra for tying the skirt around your waist. Now I've sewn the strips together, and I will go ahead and pin them to the top of the skirt, or the waist of the skirt, after I cut off a few strings. On the sides of the skirt, I didn't add the gathers there. I left it flat. That's just how I wanted it. You can choose to do it any way that you want to, or you could even do it with less gathers all around and maybe just a few tucks or a pleat. That's up to you. It's something, there's a lot of flexibility with this. If you're making one, it's very easy. And I'm just pinning it straight across to sew. And just showing you how you will end up folding down that binding around the inside, and that's where you will sew again. So you want to cover the stitches for your gathers. Also, at the end of your belt, you may want to go ahead and, if you're going to the sewing machine, tuck in the ends and stitch them down. And that will be done. Again, cutting off threads. Try and cut as I go. Now for the rest of the belt, I am just tucking it in, and I do a straight stitch down this side. So you might want to use a thread that's the same color, but it doesn't have to be. If it's something just for you, it may not be a problem. If you're making it for someone else, you may want to take the time and matching thread. Here you see how the binding was sewn to the skirt. And I'm working on both of the belt ends at this time, tucking them in so that I can sew them together. And that's pretty much it. Make sure you cut all of your strings. And there you see the skirt's pretty much finished. Some of you will stop here, and this is fine. I'll show you also where you may want to add some detail to the skirt. Some may want to add pockets if you bring it further around your waist. Here I'm showing how you can add an athletic stripe to the skirt. If you add the athletic stripe, you want to add it prior to putting the waist belt and binding on. Or you could have that stripe toward the front or end of your skirt on both sides. So there you have it. There I am, having fun in my fanny skirt, ready to go walking. So guys, thanks for joining me. Please subscribe to my channel and have a great day. Enjoy your crafts and your sewing. Bye-bye.